Okay, so uh, I love the water. Uh, that's the title of the video, and that's what I'm here to talk about. Well, it's part a review, part a defense of the water because I've seen a lot of criticism, and a lot of it is valid, and some of it is not. So, yeah, that's the point of this. Uh, let me begin with before I get into any actually spoilery stuff. If you didn't buy the watcher because of the reviews or opinions you've heard or something like that, then I can say certainly that yes, buy it, because I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, just like I wouldn't recommend Rainworld to everyone. But it's not like the DLC is certainly not objectively bad. And I think it's very good, actually. Objectively, it's good, just it has elements that are not for everyone. And if you like getting lost, if you don't mind wandering aimlessly, and if you don't mind the typical Rainworld junk that comes with Rainworld, and the fact that there might be content that will come only later, then if you don't mind that, I definitely recommend buying the DLC. I think it's amazing, and for certain people like myself, we fell in love with it. So yeah, buy it. If not, then maybe wait till more content patches drop, or maybe never buy it at all. Just watch it on YouTube or something. I know it's not for everyone, so I'm not going to say. But that's not the point. We're here to talk about what I love about the Watcher. So yeah. Actually, I want to keep this part, so I'm gonna... Oh yeah, also, before I get into the next section, just know that this is not a very cohesive review, so there's a lot of stuff I don't talk about. I just talk about the things I liked, and it's very off the top of my head. So yeah, just watch out for that. Okay, because I don't want to redo that part again, so I'm going to put it into segments. The Watcher was an amazing experience. It is the longest campaign. I would say even longer than Survivor. Overall, it's probably shorter than Downpour, because still Downpour has 5 campaigns in Vision canon. So yeah, and Downpour adds a lot of content and replayability, right? Watcher, that is an issue with Watcher, that if you don't want to explore, then you don't have much reason to replay it. If you don't like just running around Rainworld, see the world and seeing the world interact with each other, then Watcher is a one-time experience for now. And if you do like that, I replayed Watcher. I think it's amazing. There are reasons to replay the DLC if you're looking for them. So that is very subjective. However, Watcher, at first, I was disappointed. And I know that the video is I love Watcher because I love Watcher. But when I'm saying at first, I mean the first act, the prologue. I can't speak. The point is, when they drop you into hydroponics and you don't know where you are, that is exciting. New thing, you don't know where you are, you don't know it's industrial complex, you're just walking along. Also, you get stuck there for a longer time than you probably should because you suck. I got stuck on every replay in hydroponics for 3 cycles at least, because I die. But then you realize it's just a part of industrial complex and you're like, god damn it, I thought everything's going to be new. At least that's what I thought. I thought The Watcher is going to be a slack cut in a completely new campaign with no old regions. So I was disappointed because I was like, yeah, Downpour again. I mean, that's cool and all, but that's kind of disappointing, right? But then I started playing. And I went to Shaded Citadel because I'm stupid. And I tried to get to Shoreline. Realized there's rot everywhere. I can't go everywhere. Tried to go to Memory Crypts, because there's rot there. And then I went back. I didn't find the echo. I didn't think about looking for the echo. I went back to Outskirts, went to Farmer Race, and got the echo there. And I was like, okay, there is something new. Industrial got rotted and so on. That's cool. That's cool. I'm starting to like the DLC now. Then I had a lot of trouble finding the echo in Shaded Citadel because I never found it in my Downpour playthrough or the original Rainworld playthrough. I know, skill issue, but what can I say? And then you go, and it was in Chimney Canopy for me, the final echo. And of course, the echo itself is what kept me going. Spinning Top, that's what the community calls her and calls them, whatever. Them, that's more accurate probably. And Spinning Top is a very interesting character and one of the main reasons to keep playing the DLC. And here comes one of the criticisms that I very much agree with actually, is that sometimes when you find them, they don't say anything. And they have just 3 dots, and that sucks because I love Spinning Top. Spinning Top is awesome. And the lack of dialogue at certain parts sucks, and I would prefer it if it was there. That doesn't sour the experience overall for me, I just wish it was there. Because more Spinning Top dialogue, who wouldn't want that? But yeah, Spinning Top, the whole story of Spinning Top, even if it's a bit vague, well, it's really not. The other lore of Watcher is much more vague. It carries the campaign alongside with the Rot. The Rot and Spinning Top carry this campaign a lot, and I love this campaign, and that's what I think. I love the regions. I love Aya the Ridge. That's actually a big part. If you like Aya the Ridge or dislike Aya the Ridge, it will probably determine your experience with this DLC. It's kind of stupid, but Aya the Ridge is a huge part of this DLC, and although I didn't mind that some of the regions felt a little bit similar, I think 3 regions for me felt like they were similar. I know that the Ridge is like 7 regions, but there are clear differences. For example, Hitdax feels different from other regions, even if you can feel that it's part of the same place. And Fetid Glen is a completely different thing. So, in general, all the regions are amazing, in my opinion. Although we know Salination, everybody's heard, maybe not everybody. Salination is probably the most hated regions, except for maybe Badlands, which I love Badlands. I will get to that later. Salination honestly is kind of cool, and I hate on Salinations a lot, but actually that's kind of like maybe just kind of playing into the joke, because it's the first time since Revealed where there are breath puzzles that are cool, and I actually like breath puzzles. I like underwater exploration in Rainworld, and I like that there is a region that takes advantage of this system. But let's address some of the criticisms of this campaign, starting with the lack of karma gates and the ripple system, how it's called. So when you get into the new regions, you don't have karma, you have ripple 1, the golden karma thing. And people say that it undermines the karma system because you don't need it to go through any karma gates, because there are no karma gates. There's just portals which you can go through always. But that's not true, in my opinion. I mean, it's true, but it's not true that the karma system is unimportant, because the higher your karma system is, the better your ability gets. And that is actually much more interesting than karma gates. And I actually like the karma system in the original game. I know some don't, and some actually like the fact that Watcher kind of abandoned a huge part of it. But I like how Watcher handles karma system relating to your ability. It makes it actually feel rewarding to stay at high karma, and it also rewards you for finding spinning top more than you have to, because it raises your minimum karma, which is very cool. Raising your minimum karma or ripple is a thing that was never used before, and it's really nice, especially since in Watcher the higher your ripple, the better your ability is, and at ripple 10 you unlock 9, ripple 9, there is no 10. I don't know why they decided to make it 9. Why did they make it 9? But yeah. Point being, ripple is actually cool, and I don't mind the portals undermining the karma system in a way, because the portals are simply a different take on progression in Rainworld, and especially since you can create your own. The warp system is maybe a bit clunky at times, maybe not clunky, but it is not always very easy to use. But it is so cool and so useful, but also in a way that is not very predictable. So it is hard to use, but it is very useful and it is very cool, and I love that. Portals in general, I know people may say that they make the regions feel disconnected. I don't get this criticism. I feel like regions in Rainworld were never really interconnected. I mean, they were, obviously, they were. But in a way, it still feels like they're parts of the same world. Badlands are simply a place that are in a different place than the surface, right? It's a completely different place. And just like, for example, Pipe Yard is in a completely different place than Five Pebbles. Those are completely different regions that aren't connected in a way, but they're still a part of the same world, and in a way, because that makes them connected. There are no straight up connections, and I actually like that every region has its own ecosystem, and when you take creatures from one region to another, that they intrude the ecosystem. I know it doesn't have that much effect on gameplay, except on that cycle where you actually took that creature there, but it feels like you're introducing creatures that are not supposed to be there into the ecosystem, and that ties into very well with the rot. The rot spreading is so cool. There are things that I would like that I also get why they didn't do with the rot. For example, I would actually like that instead of the soft rot that is created in rotted areas. If you know that the rot slows down your movement. I don't think it can kill you. Maybe it can, but it's very difficult for it to kill you, and probably most of the time it can't. I wish it was replaced by Proto-Rot, but I also know why they didn't do that. It would make traversing the regions extremely difficult. Like, you know, imagine there being Proto-Rot in your entire world. Like, I get why they didn't do that. I wish there was a mod that did that replaced the soft rot with Proto-Rot. Because I feel like that's really cool, and that would be a very cool challenge as well. But yeah, it's something that I wish was possible, but I understand why it isn't. But rot lizards are amazing. The first time I saw them, the noises they make are terrifying. Rotted lizards, like, everybody always used the concept of rot spreading, right? It's not a new concept. Everyone, it feels natural. The rot spreads. There are people there. I will have to go. The rot spreads. That was always an intuitive thing for people, that rot should infect things, and they did it in this DLC, and I really like that. I know some people might not, especially since it is much different from the base Rainworld and lore stuff. I'm not going to discuss lore because it's difficult. I'm not also going to touch onto the Outer Rim stuff because it is very spoilery. I know a lot of people don't know that. I'm gonna just say that the second character that exists in this DLC, the only second character, is awesome, and I love them. So those were my main thoughts. I know this is very, very unorganized. It's purely unscripted. It's just my thoughts, and I probably won't even edit a lot of it. But yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't touch upon. Like, they're still improving the DLC. Like, for example, they added recently the. They added recently a way to dish out barnacles, which was something that people really wanted. I mean, more ways to dish out barnacles, because previously you could have done that only with explosives. But yeah, you can now do that with snails and some other stuff. They're still improving the DLC, and I know people don't like that the DLC wasn't exactly 100% finished on day one. I played the DLC on day one. I loved it on day one. I didn't feel like it was unfinished. And I feel like they're more improving it still than straight up fixing something that wasn't. But yeah. Besides the point, I brought like mango jellies. I mean gummies. Gummies. I think it's gummies. And they're really good. They're really. If you have some near you, I recommend buying them. If they're not too expensive. I don't know. But yeah, in general, watch are good. I like it. I know this is not a very how to say, an organized video. I don't know if I will release it even, but like, Yeah, water is very nice. People are sometimes complaining about stuff that is like isn't very important, and a lot of people bring stuff up that's just very subjective as objectively bad things, like the portal stuff or story or a lot of different things, and I'm kind of sick of that. This is not a video about that. This isn't a video about anything, to be honest, but maybe I will make a video yelling at people for criticizing water, because that's the right thing to do, right? Yeah. But no, yeah, water isn't for everyone. It is tailored to a very specific kind of player, like me, for example, and that's why I love it. So if you are the kind of player, you will love it. And I realized, if you are that kind of player, even if you will realize that the water has flaws, it will make you ignore them. You won't mind them at all. So yeah, that's my review. Have fun with water if you buy it. Have fun with some other stuff if you don't. Like, have a nice day or something. Sorry, this is gonna be some really good